Hi everybody, welcome back to another SkyTrak Quick Tip presented by Rain or Shine Golf. In this quick tip, I'm going to show you guys how the skill assessment feature works. In order to use this, you guys do need to have a game improvement feature already on your login, so make sure you go ahead to SkyTrak and get yourself signed up for that. For those of you who already have the game improvement feature, why don't you join me over in the Golf Lab as I take you guys through a demonstration on how the skill assessment works. Alright guys, as I mentioned before, I'm coming into my Golf Lab, which is now, ready to go with my SkyTrak, thanks to rainershinegolf.com. If you guys are looking to get yourself a SkyTrak, be sure you check them out. What we're going to do in this video is I'm going to show you guys how the game improvement package, the skill assessment, works. We're going to do a quick little demo so that way you guys can see what this SkyTrak device has in store for you in your game. So, go over to the game improvement section on your home screen. You're going to click on that. Once that opens up, you're going to have three different options. You're going to have bag mapping, skill assessment, and wedge matrix. For this video, we're doing the skill assessment, which is located right in the middle. We're going to tap that option, and it's going to open up for us. Once that opens up, you're going to see a couple different of options for you. On the left-hand side, on the setup section, you're going to see default, long, mixed, medium, short, randomizer, a bunch of fun different things. And we're gonna do a fun little approach game right here. So we're gonna do the short, which has yardages of 40, 75, 90, 105, 120, 135, 150, 165, 175, finished by 190. Under the SkyTrak short option, we've got left or right hand dominant. So I'm right-handed, we'll leave it as that. Number of targets, we've got 10, which you see over there in the middle screen. Shots per target, we're really gonna challenge ourselves. So instead of 5, we're gonna change it to 3. And we're gonna save all 3 of our shots for that optimizer so that way we get ourselves, what our score is. In the middle, you have your yardages. On this, it's already set up for us, but this is completely customizable. So if you want to work on just your wedges, which I like to do, I've got a side little game that I set up on there where I go in 10-yard increments, and then I go all the way down in 10-yard increments again, but for like 25, 35. It's completely customizable. You can change it to any practice you want. But for this video, I'm going to show you guys what's already built into the short section. Now that you have everything selected on your parameters, on your skill assessment setting, you're going to head and hit apply. Once you hit apply, you're going to see that there is a green in the back of the target range area. It's going to tell you right in the middle that your target distance is 40 yards. You've got shot 1 of 3, and right in the middle of the screen, you see that it has pitching wedge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit my shots. I've got everything selected. I have my club selected. And I will show you guys screen grabs and video throughout the entire thing, cutting it up between each individual section so you can see what the screen looks like, how the practice session works, and at the very end, we'll review our data so you can see what you get when you do the skill assessments here on the SkyTrak. Now, it's important to remember when you go ahead and you do the skill assessment that you do have a nice, clean golf ball. The SkyTrak works best when you've got a nice white ball and you've got the logo, little visual thing, whether it's a sticker or a little dot, something on there for the SkyTrak to pick up on. It does help you with the numbers on your device. So, time is of the essence. We're in here working on our game. Let's stop talking about it. Let's get to working on it. Let's go. Now that I've gone through the pitching wedge section, it's moving over to my 9-iron. So we have a 135-yard shot. So we're gonna go to my bag, change out to my 9-iron, and get fired at these pins, hopefully better than what I've been doing with this pitching wedge so far. It's 190 yards now. We're on our 10th shot of our particular skill assessment that we're doing right now. After these 3 shots, it's going to connect us over to what our final score is for this skill assessment section. And I'll go through it with you guys to show you what I scored on this particular practice round / demonstration for the skill assessment. All right, I just finished the skill assessment round here on the SkyTrak. Was it the short one? I think we looked at it as like an approach shot, right? So I'm a mid-range handicap. I've been working all winter long. The 2022 season is just around the corner. So it's a good time to see where I stand after all this practice here with my SkyTrak in my golf lab, right? So we just finished up. I see that I've got a 73% accuracy. My shot dispersion is 22 yards on average, and my tendency is left and long. Today, I tend to be pulling everything to the left. Other days, I tend to be pushing everything to the right, something you'd expect from a mid-range handicap. So as you go through here on the bottom right-hand side, you're going to see target 1 through 10. You're going to see the distance. You're going to see your distance to the pin in feet. So it looks like I was averaging 24 feet to the pin on the first target, and all the way at the very end, I was 55 feet on the last target. So my distance to the pin, it's not great, but it's what to expect with a mid-range handicap trying to get better. And my goal is to get into the single digits this year, and it looks like I'm on my way based off of my dynamic handicap. SkyTrak is telling me that I played this particular skill assessment at a 9.7 on their dynamic handicap, and how I understand it, that equates to roughly what your index would be in your golf index. So my tendency tends to be a lot to the left, as we saw there. A couple of the shots, the 8, 9, and 10, the longer distances, we started to push a little bit more to the right there. So our green accuracy, we hit all the greens on our first target. We hit everything on our 6th and our 8th target, and then from our further distance away from 190, we're only at 33%. So we've got work to do across the board there. So if you want to see what you did on each particular round, that's when you go ahead and you hit the next button in the upper left-hand corner. So here it's going to break down your 3 shots for the 40 yards. So I was at 100% accuracy, shot dispersion was 17.3 yards, dynamic handicap was a 17.2. Why? Because the closer you are to the hole, the more you should be sprinkling that ball around the hole. I'm long and I'm short on it. My average was, 24 feet to the pin. That needs to be better from 40 yards. So we know that we need to work on our wedge game. We got to get more dialed in there. So same rough area from our 75 yard. And again, we're using a pitching wedge for that. Typically, I may use a sand wedge. I may use a lob wedge from those distances. And we can always repeat these skill assessments as many times as we want with different clubs to really see what works out best for me, for you, for whoever's looking to get better. On our 90 yards, we start to get, a little bit better on our distance on there, because now we're starting to get closer to where I use that club. over when we get to 105 yards. Again, still not there. I'm more of a gap wedge from that distance. That's what I prefer to use, but this is a demonstration. We're looking to get better, so you challenge yourself with different clubs. At 120 yards, that's where I typically use this pitching wedge, and you notice that I'm down to a 4 on my dynamic handicap. That's a range that I know that I'm comfortable using that club and doing these skill assessments. You can see what works best for you, where you're more dialed in, so that way you're able to set up your shots on the golf course to what works best for your game. Going through here, and we start to get into our different clubs based off of our distances that we're well aware of from different practice. We're at a 3.8 with our 9 iron. We're at our scoring clubs. We're at a 10.8 dynamic handicap with our 8 iron, and you can see our dispersion on there. We had our very first shot was just not good at all. We were way off to the target. We completely missed, and you're going to see that the other two were a little closer to the target line on that. Our 7 iron, so many of us spend a lot of time hitting our 7 irons. We're dialed in on there. It looked like we almost hold a couple out. And same with our 6 iron, are better. So what I'm seeing on this, when I go through my skill assessment at this range, is that my 8, 9 irons are pretty dialed in. My pitching wedge from 120 yards, I know that's where I'm at, but my shorter distances, my feel isn't there. We needed more practice there. And I can also see on my longer distances that, we're doing pretty well for as far as we are, but we always could do better. We only hit 1 green on there, so if we're not on the green from 190 yards, we're chipping, we're losing an opportunity to get a better score because we've already seen that those shorter distances on the wedge shots just weren't there on this. Alright guys, that's it for the SkyTrak Quick Tip presented by Rain or Shine Golf. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you guys out, give me a thumbs up, really appreciate it. And if you want to see more SkyTrak Quick Tips, hit the subscribe train below because we've got a lot more coming. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, keep grinding.